Hey, this is Kendall with BlackOvis, part of our solid hunting gear BlackOvis cleanup. I found some boots, and so I'm gonna talk a little bit about boot cleanup. These are the Laponias from Crispy. They've never been treated. They're not mine. They're one of the guys in the shop. I told him I'd treat his boots up nice for him. So as you can see, the leather is extremely light colored. Couple key points to look at. Guys ask us all the time, when should I clean my boots, or when do I need to treat my boots? Two things I always look for. Number one, how much is the leather absorbing moisture? And the second thing I look for is the tone or the color of the leather changing or usually getting lighter. Those two are key indicators on leather boots of when it's time to change. So I have boots that I only use for a few weeks out of the year. I'm lucky I've got 2 or 3 different models to choose from. If you've got one boot that you use a lot, like using spring, summer, fall, you're gonna have to treat that based on paying attention to the boots. The boots are kind of one of those things we don't pay a lot of attention to. For this cleanup item, I am going to do a few different steps. First, I'm gonna pull the laces out of the boot. Secondly, I'm gonna take these brushes. I've got a little bit, it's not pretty soft brush I've got here, and then I've got a second brush, which is actually for rock climbing, for bouldering. This is a really fine brush. And I'm going to use these brushes to really get as much of that dirt and grit and soil out of the seams and such. I'm going to actually clean these with this Wax footwear cleaning gel. And this has a little scrubby on the top, and I'm going to get them wet, and I'm going to use that little scrubby guy and clean them off super well. It has got foaming wash in there, which is really, really good. The next step I'm going to do is I like using the cream that Crispy provides, or that they make specifically for their leather. It's a synthetic cream, so it requires that the boots are going to be dry, and I got all the time in the world, right, because we're on quarantine, but I am going to speed up the process because I'm a little lazy. I'm going to use the Wax waterproofing leather wax for leather. This is a water-based product, which Crispy also recommends using. So synthetic-based or water-based, it's all the same for this particular boot. So those are the 3 steps I'm going to go through. Follow along as I take care and clean up this particular pair of boots today. When I'm cleaning the boots off, this is not necessary, especially if you're using the Wax, because they've got that applicator, but this just breaks down some of that dirt that's maybe caught inside the leather or just in those seams. And I find that you can treat your boots without washing them if you do this really well, but this is really just an extra step that I go through when I'm prepping to clean my boots. An old toothbrush is nice for these hard to get to places. So next step is, after I've got them brushed off, cleaned out, taken out the laces, especially pay attention to down in these like hard to get to spots, like you saw me use a toothbrush for that. Then I'm gonna use the cleaning gel. Some guys use a wash basin. I'm just going to basically use the hose here, and I'm gonna, inside of this, the footwear cleaning gel, it's got a little kind of pressure thing. You just squeeze it, and there you go. It starts to foam up really nicely like that. So the key here is just really clean that leather. It's okay. You can see that difference in the color. This stuff that's not clean, it's gonna really be nice. So let's get this wet. Once you've got it on there, you don't necessarily need to leave it on much longer. Just go ahead and rinse all that off. And you can see that it's actually absorbing more water now than it did before, this leather is. But I'm breaking down the leather, all the grit and stuff that's caught up on this thing after the last year of use. And just prepping it so that we can put the cream on there. Now, like I said before, if you were using the Crispy waterproofing cream, then you're going to want to make sure this dries. And I would not recommend putting it in the sun. Dry it definitely in a cooler area so it can naturally dry over a day or so. But because I'm a little lazy and I want to get this done today, I'm going to use that Wax waterproofing wax for leather, which can be applied when the boot is still wet. One thing that a lot of guys, and I haven't done this a lot, but I'm going to do it today, particularly because these laces are extremely dirty. But one thing to make sure you do as part of this process, maybe once a year, is clean out your laces. We do hear from guys, and I've talked to Justin over at Crispy about some guys are, you know, their boots squeak a little bit, and a lot of that is because the boot leather gets dry and then it's rubbing against a very dry lace. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean these laces. I'm gonna use the same cleaning gel. Got a little Brillo pad from the kitchen. Just cut that off the end of one of those big ones. And I'm just gonna run this over because also I'm gonna put a little bit of some of that waterproofing wax for leather on the laces as we get finished. Not that I'm trying to waterproof it, but I'm just really just trying to add some moisture back into there. So let's go ahead and get these guys wet. Okay, last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get ready to put the waterproofing wax for leather on. I don't necessarily need to dry these off, but I'm just gonna take a little bit of the moisture out of the surface of the leather. And you can use a towel. I like to use these paper towels because it sometimes will gather up just a little bit of that surface dirt that I might have missed in the scrubbing. Now on this particular boot, this area right here is not leather. It's actually a more material, so I don't need to treat this with this product here. I've got a spray right here for nubuck and suede that I can use on the tongue area. I'm really gonna just focus on this leather part though. So Nikwax makes actually two products for this purpose. One is this waterproofing wax for leather that comes as a liquid and you rub it in with this applicator. The other one that I typically use most, and I just happen to be out of right now, is that it comes in a toothpaste kind of looking a tube. Again, it has this purple, the purple top on it. Same exact product, two different ways to apply it. In this particular video, I'm just showing you using the more liquid version. And again, I prefer using the toothpaste, the more paste style, but both of them work equally as well. For the last step, I'm going to use this nubuck suede proof for footwear, and I'm actually going to spray that here on the tongue since it's a fabric. I would say probably not going to kill you if you use the waterproofing wax for leather, but probably not entirely necessary either. I'm just applying this to the suede and fabric areas on this boot. And I'm going to be pretty generous. I'm just going to let that soak in to that particular fabric area. You don't, on the Laponia, you don't need to apply it to the rand because it's a polyurethane coated leather. Just going to apply it to these fabric areas and the suede area. Guys, if you got any questions about any of the gear that we sell or any of the uses of some of the cleaning items, feel free to give us a shout. Have a good day, guys. Thanks for checking in.